this Mississippi song.
A healing stream flows from Cairns, carries my mountain.
Give me one
give me wonderful rest. I don't have to worry about these old problems, these old burdens. I won't have to worry about it. No more, no more, no more, no more, no more. He will give me. Yes, he will. Everlasting rest. He will give me. I know he will. Yes, he will. Oh, yes, he will. Yes, he will. Jesus said, come unto me. Oh, get alive. I will give you rest. Yes, sir. He will give you something to rest. Yes, he will. No more crying. He will give me. He will give me. He will give me. He will give me. Yes, he will. No more dying. No more dying. No more sickness. No more pain. No more pain. He will give you rest. He will give you rest. You don't have to worry about it, honey. Rest. He give you rest. You don't have to worry about dying no more. He will give you rest.
Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB,
Macon and WDDO 980 AM
Perry.
Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Mother Georgia, she's back on live, the historic night.
Before we get it, because we out.
All of a sudden, let's go live into the studio with our host, Brenda Sutton.
Hello, 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 hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
I am tired, actually.
Well, you know what? We're going to ask them now. You want to share it and share it and share it and like it and share it if you on any of our social medias and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And if you on the radio, listening on your way home from work, child, is hot.
It's hotter than all outdoors.
You know, it's real hot.
Mm-hmm.
Child, it's so hot. I was in, you know, it's so hot you can't even get cool. You know how sometimes it's so hot, you know, you can't even like.
It ain't nothing you can do. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
And we did a gig yesterday at Society Garden. It was 103 degrees.
Wow.
And so, it's that miserable kind of heat. And, we have to perform in it and try to, we didn't even have a large audience yesterday, not as large as it usually is, because nobody wants to come sit out in the heat.
Yeah. I mean, And I got to water the grass and stuff. I'm like, I was looking at the grass. I said, did it rain this weekend?
It did. Well, I think it did.
But with that heat, I probably need to put some water on that grass.
Uh-huh. And here's the thing. We haven't even hit the first month of summer yet. So August, I can only imagine August is going to be downright miserable.
I'm just getting my shorts. I'm getting my shorts together because it's, as you say, it's going to be hot.
Yeah, hot. And so I'm so drained today. And we had a gig Friday, We had a gig Saturday that was outside, Saturday night outside for 3 hours. Well, and the sun was still up. It was the rooftop. And then we had another gig, like I said yesterday, out in the sun, 103-degree weather. So when I say I'm drained, like you don't really realize how much that heat and that sun can just drain you.
Oh, I'm really drained.
And
I
so-
myself, if you want to call in, because I know you say surprise, surprise. And I lost my train of thought. That would happen when you get old.
Uh-oh.
But today's topic, but before we move in our day's topic, I want y'all to. I can't see the thing, Emily, because I don't have my glasses.
The call-in number is 478-250-1444. Again, it's 478-250-1444. That is the call-in number. You guys can call in and talk to us, ask us questions.
Just because Emily and I were having a conversation, and y'all know I'm just truly a transparent kind of person, So the question is, when you're dealing with somebody older than you, and what I mean by that, old enough to be your parent, don't you think that's the parameter to put it in? Old enough to be your parent,
Mm-hmm.
Or older.
Mm-hmm.
Should you automatically give a certain level of respect to someone because they are old?
I think you should.
Okay.
I think you should.
Regardless of what they say?
Well, let me finish. I think you should, simply because that was the way I was raised. You respect your elders. Now, I do think there is a boundary that shouldn't be crossed. And if that boundary gets crossed, there is a way to be respectful and just let that elder know, hey, you can't talk to me like that. But there's a way that you have to go about doing it to kind of put them in their place and put them in line. Because I do know that a lot of elders, including you, Brenda, y'all think you get to a certain age and you can say whatever you want, whenever you want it. And that used to be the case, but now you can't do that no more. But I've always been taught to respect my elders, and I've often let elders get away with saying things that they shouldn't be saying. But I also understand that sometimes you don't know what these elders are going through, so it's just like you got to let them have it. But if they're crossing the line and being disrespectful, I think that's when you should step in and say something. But if that elder is not being disrespectful, just charge to the game because they old,
Look, that call-in number, I just want to hear your take on it out there. That's what, 25, 0?
No, it's 478-250-1444.
We want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. You want to hear your take. Now, let me just say mine. I was different when I was younger. And what I mean by younger, like in my 40s, I would treat, older people. It didn't matter how old, if they were like old enough to be my mom, then I would just treat them, a certain way. So that would be like 60 and above when I say around my 40s or whatever like that. But then as I became older, and you say I say anything, and I've been told by many people that they don't know what's going to come out my mouth. But I'm going to say this and sometimes people ask for you to say stuff. And when you're younger, you won't say it. Because you have this thing. It's certain things I'm not going to say. It's certain things I'm not, you just won't say it out of respect sometimes to the elders, out of respect to yourself, but you just don't. Let's say the word filter. When you're younger, sometimes you may have a filter, but when you get old, you don't have no filter.
I would agree. I agree.
And sometimes we do say some things, but I'm going to say this, I give people respect, period. But if you say something or do something, depending on what it is and how you catch me, I'm going to get you.
Okay.
And I hate it. It bothers me if they're an older person. But old people are not entitled. You don't automatically get, if y'all listening out there, and I know I got some of us call in. If you are older, you ain't got no business saying any and everything to people, then expecting them just take it.
But you'll be doing it.
No, I don't. I don't do well. You know what though, Emily? Who? Well, I get on now them little kids. Now I would say like Denver. I get on her and expect for her to take it.
Mhm.
But but other people, I don't think. I don't think I do. But then as I get older, though, the filter.
Mhm.
What I mean by the filter being gone is certain things you just can't say. You just can't say it to me.
Mhm.
You just can't say it. If you do, then it's on and popping. That's what.
I mean, again, it's such a fine line
Yeah, no,
with
fine line.
with what's appropriate and what's inappropriate. I think it also depends on your personality. Like, I have a thicker skin, so you may be able to say something to me
Well, that's true.
and I just chalk it off or laugh it off and be like, child, whatever. And somebody else that may be a little bit more sensitive, they may feel, completely disrespected, and they feelings make it hurt. So I think it's just a fine line. I will say this. I think whatever age you are, you should respect people. Just period, point blank. I don't think that because you were 80 that you should be popping off at the mouth at a 60-year-old or 40-year-old or a 20-year-old. I think that if you give respect, respect will be given to you. And I remember having a conversation with my mom about being an elder. I said, if you are an elder, your energy exudes that.
That's
You don't
true.
have to go
That's
around
true.
telling people, I'm an elder and you gonna respect me. I'm an elder. And yet, well, an elder doesn't have to say that they're an elder. An elder carries that themselves in such a way that you will automatically give them the respect, which goes back to what I was saying about I tend to surround myself with people, elders that are respectable people. So like I don't have to worry about should I is this person gonna say something crazy out the side of their neck, or should I, pop back off because I surround myself with elders, with true elders, elders that have respect. And I think wisdom um plays a huge part in what comes out of your mouth. You get old enough, you're supposed to know. I ain't got no business saying that. And most folks, by the time they get a certain age, they don't even care enough to put energy into popping off with you.
You know what? That is just the honest truth. That is a great way to move on to the next segment. We were
Mm-hmm.
talking kind of in the car. I listened to a what's the name of the TikTok. I went to the
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why we so sleepy. Okay,
I know why.
I went to the TikTok what you call it, the news feed,
Mm-hmm.
and there are so many people that are crying,
Mm-hmm.
and I understand the tears now. Your Medicaid got cut off, your Section 8 got cut off,
Mm-hmm.
and your food stamps. Did we not did we
Mm-hmm.
not tell? We told our people, our listeners, look here, look here. It's going to be a different standard for food stamps, and even with the ones who are getting it,
Mm-hmm.
probably won't be able to get the kind of things
Mm-hmm.
that they've been getting. So I heard this one gentleman, of course it wasn't, well, let me just say I heard one gentleman, and he said, I got 5 children. They done cut my food stamps down from 1,100 to $218 a month. And what am I supposed to do to take care of my children? So I was like, hmm, I said, maybe we need to talk about how black folk always find a way,
Mm-hmm.
because that's something that we're very, very good at. And I was asking you about it in the car, and you said, well, let me tell you a story. You remember you
Mm-hmm.
told me?
Oh yeah. So I think it was Ozzie Davis. That's who it was. It was Ozzie Davis, and he was reading a manuscript from a slave manual that was written. I don't know. I think it was the 1800s or something like that. But he tells the story of uh, this guy, and he was on this plantation and said that their master starved them really, really, really bad. And it wasn't that the master didn't have the means or the money to feed the slaves. The master was just, really cruel, and he only fed them the bare minimum. So some of them would starve and pass out in the fields or whatever. So they had a winter was approaching. It was a late fall, and winter was approaching. And so what they would typically do was take the hogs and they would harvest the meat, and it would carry them through carry the slaves, slave owners rather, and that family through the entire winter. So they had 9 hogs, for big, fat, juicy, big, huge hogs, right?
But they're gonna have some smoked
And so so the master comes out and tells them, you guys need to start preparing the hogs for the winter. So one of them wakes up the next day and notices that all the hogs are looks dead, are dead. And so they call the master and the master's family come out, and they like, well, what happened? Oh, we don't know, sir. I don't know, it looked like they maybe got a hold of something and it just took them all out. So the master tells them, all right, well, y'all get rid of them. Well, what the slaves had done was they had took a mallet and broke the skull of the pigs, all 9 of them. So they lay there dead, thinking that, something had happened to the pigs, but the slaves themselves were the ones that actually killed the pigs. So they went, instead of getting rid of the hogs, they went and harvested the meat for themselves. And so the entire plantation of all of the slaves had meat to eat for the entire winter.
See, but
so now that's a story of you make a way.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, and I was just, I was swapping those type of stories. And, my grandmother told the story about when they were, what her mother told her about them being in the house, and Master loved hen, and they came down, my grandmother's family stole the hen, they cooked it. And so they came down there looking for the hen. They smelled some hen, and they had hid the hen underneath the porch, the house, just pulled the board up. And so they said, ooh, they tell me how good that hen is. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. They said, yeah, master, we smell it too. They would do different little things, and they would figure out a way to make it, And that's what I thought, I said, it'd be a good, every time, I look around, a lot of Black folk are doing stuff during this time of, like really trauma and stuff. I'm just going to pull this genre out. I didn't know that Black folk did the trail. Was it the trail dance or something like that?
Trail ride or something like that.
The trail ride. And I see more Black folk in cowboy boots and shorts and hats.
Oh, I'm so sick of it.
And I'm like, oh my goodness. Every time I look, that's what I see.
Because, one thing I will say about Black people, we will jump on any trend. We will create a trend, make a trend, jump on the bandwagon. Yeah. And that whole cowboy trend, I give it to the end of the year, and we'll be on to something else.
And that's okay.
And it was Beyonce that started the whole cowboy movement. And, it's sad because you realize that our people really don't know their history. And even the ones that think they know the history, they really don't know their history. And our people, we as a people, we were the originators of cowboys, and we all know the history of the word cowboy and why we were called cowboys, etc., etc. So the original cowboys were actually Black men or Africans. They, this is not anything new. White people didn't coin or hone being a cowboy. It was always ours to begin with, but because we don't know our history, or our history was hidden from us, or etc., etc., it took Beyonce to put on a cowboy hat and some spats, and now everybody want to walk around with their boobs hanging out with tight booty shorts and cowboy boots and hats. And
I knew that and this is just that we were in trouble when I saw some Louis Vuitton boots. Studded cowboy boots with heels. I'm like, child, I said, boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground. What them fans at?
But you know what though, Emily, I really thought about it. I was like, during this particular time that we're embracing and coming up on, you better learn how to do something, okay? You better have your own side hustle. If you got and by the way, you better take advantage of it. If you got a side hustle now, I don't want to give no 30 minutes to it, like that, but give us a call and tell us what you're doing. How you making it. Because a lot of times, Emily, we were talking about it. back in the day, they used to have rent parties and all kinds of things to help people and stuff like that. It's coming up on a time now. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, this country, I don't think has ever been this uncertain before, at least that I can remember. I'm 44,
I've
going on 45.
I've never seen it like this.
This is probably the most uncertain, I think most of us can say we've ever been, like where you literally don't know what your future is going to hold.
And the thing about it, and like I said, how lots of people, and I see it out in the TikTok world. They said, why everybody else, and now we're gonna say, there's no absolute out there protesting, tearing up shoes, writing letters. Some of them then gone to jail and stuff like that. They said, why black folk ain't with them? And I'm like, because we tired of doing all that. We know that the thing that we have to do is survive. This is a whole different, that's what I'm saying. You best know how to do some things, even if it's a little side hustle. They always had a side hustle. Now you got to hustle, and a great hustle. It's your business and stuff like that. I do a little intellectual work, but
my business is my business. The side hustle is the gigging, my singing.
Okay.
My singing is my side hustle, and I hate that. We've gotten the country has come to a point where it that used to be my side money, my side hustle, and now it's become part of a source of my income, a main source of my income. So, I was saying earlier why I was so tired. I had to do 3 gigs this weekend. And in the heat, in the hot, degree weather, and people, they don't tip the way they used to. And generally we do a 3-hour show. I would say 2 or 3 years ago, after a 3-hour show, we may have about $250 in the tip jar. For example, last night, I think we had $34.
Wow.
And that was after a 3-hour show. And you would think that, it's not that the people don't have the money. It's that they're not tipping anymore. People are trying to hold on to their money. And I'm like, okay, guys, so this is a public service announcement. If you come to a live show and the band has a tip jar out and it's 100-degree weather, I don't think they really realize how difficult it is to entertain people in 103-degree weather.
I know that's tremendous. I don't even go out in the heat. That's what I do. I don't even do it. But I'm glad that you kind of brought up the how the situation is changing, because it is, and we're seeing it now. I noticed I myself got some cheese, and it was already sliced. You know how you buy it in the store, it's already sliced. And it was so thin. I was like, get out of here. I've never bought instead of, I said, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to get me a knife, because it was so thin. I had to put 2 pieces on it to make a piece. That's how thin it was.
Are you sure you didn't pick up the thin slice? Because they have what they call deli sliced cheese, and then they have regular sliced cheese, and it's actually called deli thin.
No, it wasn't deli thin.
Okay, so this was
regular cheese. But I'm telling you, I've noticed how high the food is, and I'm like, I don't even buy processed food. I really don't. So I'm just saying that, black folk make a way. We usually figure out how to do something. We know how to cook the food. We know how to stretch the stuff, and things like that. But it's going to get even worse with the current climate that we're in. What was it? Did they lay off 1,300 people in the civil service this past weekend? I think so.
I think I read something like that. Yeah.
So, and that may be a small amount to a certain, but it depends on where they pull them from and stuff like that. People are losing their jobs. I know that, so again, black people, we're going to have to do a little bit more. And by the way, we got the 2026 election coming up. We really, 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 really need you to get out there and vote.
I was just talking to Jimmy about that. I said, these are, to me, in my opinion, these are the more important elections. Your local and your state, your Congress, your senators, those are the ones that go up, that make the laws, write the laws, etc. And I could say, 5 years ago that, or a few years ago, that Congress, has to pass the bill. The bill, comes to Congress and they have to sign off on it. But now with the current orange man in office, he's just doing so many unorthodox things. But those are the most important elections, is those the Congress, congressional elections,
Senate.
senators,
And
those are
and
the
we are
most
going to have a governor's race.
right.
And so, but I'm going back to, and I said black folk, a lot of us, and I've forgotten the percentage of us, did not vote. And so there again, how black people gonna get through it. I'm a student of genealogy. That's I love it. And one of the things I always check is those old records, those old really voting, not necessarily voting records, but where they signed up to vote. And people back then, when they got free, they were so happy to be free. They felt like they had a pathway to making it. It seems like now people don't understand that you need a pathway to be successful. Now you need to have a will. The way that our government is set up is something serious. It's very difficult. Very, very difficult to even get services. Like some of these people are veterans, that, and they've lost a lot of their benefits. And they're trying to fix it where if I'm not mistaken, if I have a call out there, correct me if I'm wrong, that if they are working, like a lot of times they'll get like a disability, then they can work on the base. Okay. So they get like essentially 2 checks. They say, okay, if you can work on the base, you don't need your VA benefit. Take care of that from people.
Wow. I mean, and
so
is that not right? I mean, if they're claiming disability, but you can go work a full-time job, are you really disabled?
It depends on what it is. Because sometimes, like say for instance, they had a certain level of PTSD, and that PTSD was under control if they took medication, but you still can't have them in the army or whatever services because they can't stand to hear something or whatever, it'll be a trigger. Then they could work they could work on base, work outside, and do some stuff. But that's one of the benefits of being in the service is that particular thing. But and I said black folk gonna make it. I remember how people were in the country, they would look out for each other. And we used to do a better job of looking out for each other to make sure that all of us made it or whatever. But a good example to me is hey Johnny, how you doing?
Doing good. I've been trying to get in for like a long time. I said to myself, Brenda has set up some kind of trap for me.
Why would I set up a trap for you?
I'm just teasing, Brenda.
Where you at?
Why are you not here?
I called your big head and you didn't answer the phone.
You know what? I couldn't find my ear.
What?
His earpiece.
Jenna, today's topic, and you saw the article was about, black folk gonna always make it. We always find a way. And given this time that we're in today, which is really, really, really bad, we're going to have to step up to do something because it's going to be hard times are ahead.
You know what? The biggest obstacle I think that we're going to face at this juncture, rather than the people that we speak of the past that make us say that we've always found a way, is I don't think that they had the variable of pride as this group of people do. The group of people that we live in these days got so much pride that they are rather paying themselves than to let somebody know that they're having a problem, a lot of them. And I got a lot of friends. I'm sort of guilty of that sometimes too, I think. Rather than ask people for help, I just suffer through it. But we used to help each other so much, but we weren't afraid to let a person know we needed help either.
Well, I think I feel like
I ain't talking about
I'm
the
one of
people
those
on the
people
street
that help. Like I agree with John. It's like sometimes you just don't ask for help when you need it. But I'm the type of person I wanna ask for the help. Hey Ricky, when I really, really need it. If you start asking, like when stuff get a little tough and you ask for help, then people gonna start hating to see you come. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They hate to see you coming
Yeah.
because, you know, some things you got to try to figure out and work out on your own. So, like,
You're
I
right.
don't like to ask my friends for help unless I absolutely, really, really need it. And, you know, thankfully, Brenda has stepped in and helped me a lot at my store. Because on some days I actually really need it, but I didn't even actually have to ask her. She volunteered because she saw and she knew that I needed the help. But I would have never asked her. I just would have figured it out because I feel like asking a favor of your friend, like I want to save those favors for when I really, 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 really need it. Because I don't like taking it. Basically, I don't like taking advantage of the people that I love and care about.
You know what I think about you and that other one sitting in there with you? I think I think that what it really is that both of you have high expectations of yourselves, and both of you want to be the person that's helping people rather than the person that needs help. I think that's what motivates you all. I think both of you want to help people so much, and you feel kind of like, man, I ain't supposed to be asking anybody for help. I'm supposed to be helping people. And I think that's a lot to do with y'all's DNA. I think that both of you want to help people, and that more than you, and not that you don't already. I just think you want to do it in a more magnanimous way. I just think you guys really, really, really are servants at heart, and you're really trying to figure out how can I help a whole lot more people. I think that's y'all's biggest problem.
What I believe is we as a people have just truly, sometimes I think we just have lost that connectionness. You know, as you say, you don't even want it. I don't know if it's pride or if wait a minute, Ricky said closed mouth can't get. People say that. I don't know. That's kind of akin to me sometimes, the begging, and I don't want anybody to think that, you know. But I appreciate whatever help that you give me, and I have learned, especially since I've gotten old, you have to ask for help sometimes.
Yeah, you do.
You know,
But now in these times though, the words "our" and "we," they don't exist as much as mine and mine. We've become such a selfish people. Just the whole world really. It's about my stuff. You know, you get yours, I get mine. I got mine, you get yours. You know, it's just a difference in the whole ideology of people.
well, and then too, you know, and I would say black people always figure out how to make it. During COVID, we figured out some stuff. And I don't know how we made it. You know, I think about, you know, like the way we ate food, because you couldn't get food all the time, the kind of food you wanted and stuff like that. And you had to deal with shortages and things like that. You know, what advice do you have, Emily, on making it?
Oh Lord. You just have to keep, first of all, you got to keep a positive attitude. I think that's just generally, you got to keep a positive attitude, and you have to be willing to do the work. Most of us, not us in this room per se, but generally speaking, this generation and my generation are lazy. We don't want to have to work and go the extra mile, like, you know, to make ends meet. We don't want to have to get the second job or the third job, or maybe work a shift that's not so great, or cut back. You know, we are a generation of excess. So my generation, specifically the 80s babies, I believe that our generation was the first generation to start seeing mass wealth among Black people. So we started, instead of being smart with our wealth, we bought houses and cars and clothes and jewelry and shoes and hair and weave and makeup, etc. And we forgot how to help each other. We forgot the importance of being a community. So my advice would be, we have to get back to a place where we're not trying to live outside of our means, so that when our neighbors in our community needs help, we're there to help, and we can actually offer the help. Because a lot of us can't help the next person because we ain't really got it. We walking around here like we got it, but we ain't really got it.
You're right.
You understand what I'm saying?
You're right.
Like, I may be dressed and look like I got money, but my bank account, you know, could be just as empty as the day is long.
Wow.
And that happens quite often. I know, because I deal with women and they sit in my chair, and sometimes I be thinking, like, how are you on my in my chair getting a full face of makeup, and you talk about you got a past due bill?
See, and then what are you supposed to see? But when you get a conversation like that, that's for you to say, "Oh, I just give you the hookup and do it free."
Oh no,
Really? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. When you start with, well, I ain't got no money and I ain't got no this. Whenever they start with, they ain't got. Then that means that I don't want to pay. So therefore, you know,
you're supposed to give it for free. I think we got a caller. Hello, caller.
This is Mr. Wonderful. How are you doing?
Wonderful. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. I got a bone to pick with Miss Emily.
What did I do? Okay.
Everybody in this generation is not lazy. This generation right here, everybody's not lazy. You use a broad brush when you mention the word lazy. Chandler is 34. Kayla will be 32 in December. I can remember one year Chandler picked up 31 bodies by himself. Okay.
Wow.
I picked up the 32nd body because he wouldn't wake up. Walking through the Suburban, I asked him, I said, "You want to drive?" He said, "If you want to get there, might want to drive." I get to the hospital, load the body up, he won't wake up. Get to the funeral home, he won't wake up. Come back home, he won't wake up. Sheila said, "Where Chandler?" I said, "He in the Suburban asleep." That's when he was chasing girls all night and working all night. All right. Last week, I like to munch my yard twice a year. Okay. I was buying the munch at Make a Munch, but this time I went to Ace Hardware, $5 a bag. I got the munch laid out in the yard. Chandler comes over here almost at night, puts his headlights on his car to spread the munch out. So when you got a 34-year-old kid that uses headlights to spread the munch out, he ain't lazy. There are some lazy, but you use a broad brush. Everybody in this generation is not lazy.
Well, no, I mean, obviously everybody in this generation is not lazy, but we have a lot of them that are, I mean, and more so I would say the 30 and under, the 30 to 20 is really more social media driven, and they don't have the wherewithal, they don't have the go get itness, they don't have the fight that we had. Like, at least, you know, the 40 to 50-year-olds, we had a reason to try to go out and hustle and work hard. These young people think that I can be a social media star, I can be a social media influencer. That's what I mean about being lazy. They don't have the tenacity, the grit. They don't want to go out there.
But you know what though? A lot of that, Leon, you on the phone?
I'm here.
You know what it is? His daddy named Leon.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not just, you know, excuse it. Mm-hmm. Because you taught him how to be a man. I wouldn't expect anything less from yours.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how they daddy work.
Mm-hmm. Huh? 15 years old, going to Windsor Academy. Kayla was making $75 a week, selling costume jewelry at Windsor Academy. Wow. They broke in her locker and stole $350, and they gave me and Sheila 3 months free tuition. My children are working. Every last one of them are working.
See, that's my point. You know, you taught them how to survive.
Right, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is different. But black people now, really think about it. Now, you know what you see. You know, I seen you in that jumpsuit and what you was doing. Okay.
Well, I went off the script now. I went off the script. Ain't no doubt about that.
Yeah, you did. You went out the script. You know what Leon did last week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you done made me lost my train of thought.
That's the second time.
I have that effect on women. Don't be alarmed.
It's that and the orange jumpsuit.
Hey, Emily, you just tell her, just don't forget to cash out that book bag money while she loses it. While she forgets it.
What cash out? You know what? I'm gonna give you some book bags too, because I've got some.
Okay.
I've got
Where's
something
your
never.
pretty niece? Where's your pretty niece at? Cause she was asleep. She ain't listening today. Where your pretty niece at?
Did he just say this on air? Tell me that Leon did not just say this on air.
He did.
Yeah, I said it. What they gonna do? Put me in timeout? Yeah, I said it. What they gonna do? Put me in timeout? I said, where your pretty niece at?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, you still ain't answered. Emily, she still ain't answered.
I will call her and tell her that you look. In fact, I'll text her and tell her that you're looking for her. I'll do it right now.
Just tell her I said hello. That's all you gotta do.
I would do that. And I'm going to tell you, and when we get off air, I'm going to tell you how you know her. You know, you've dealt with my pretty niece before.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I like to deal.
That's why. So you and I have to talk. You know. Well, you have a good one, Leon. Nobody like you, baby.
Later.
All right. Bye. Hey, Johnny.
Yeah.
You know, I do know that we have to give young people some credit, but the majority, you know, every time I'm talking to like a young man or something, and they start to tell me about the women of today, I go back to Johnny said it. Johnny have said they're very transactional. Johnny have said that they'll come up to you half dressed or whatever, and they just trying to see what you gonna do.
I know what's going on but the rent.
And that's it right there.
Ain't nothing going on but the rent.
Or they'll tell you no money. See, they grew up in that era. They grew up in the era where they heard all the time, no money, no honey. You know, they heard all that stuff all the time. And it was about, they didn't never hear no intelligence, no time, no work ethic, no time. They just heard about if he ain't got no money, he ain't worth the time. And so,
but you know what, Johnny, though, that's what I'm saying. Getting back to where we are today, today's climate and stuff, they can't do what they used to do. I'm really afraid, Emily, that probably about the only thing we'd be able to do is buy soap.
hey, y'all ought to be ashamed. One of the things said that we don't help each other like we used to help each other?
Yeah, we do.
Now, let me give you another reason why we don't. Because of exposure. Because a lot of people used to help. We become jaded about help, especially this young generation, because they can come to you and be crying and whining, my baby ain't got this, or I'm about to get put out. And then they'll cry until you give them $300-400. And you think they're going to be on the street. And then they forget they put on Facebook 30 minutes later, they out partying. So that make people not want to help them. Because they say, man, they probably lying.
Well, you know what, Johnny, I was on my TikTok news and a lady was on there and she talked about her daughters, how her daughters, she helped her daughters every now and then. They went and dropped those kids off and left them there for 3 days. She had to try to feed them. She called them, come pick your children up because I got to go to work. She ended up having to call in because they never came to pick the children up. And as a result of her calling in, it was an inappropriate call in and she got fired from her job.
Wow.
So, you don't.
Wow.
There is an element that's out there, and I said that we survive. And I guess it's going to be some of us, those who have that strong work ethic will survive. But if you ain't got no work ethic, don't think the ones who are out here surviving is going to support you.
Oh, it's going to be some changes being made if people ain't not paying attention.
Johnny, you better say it.
They better pay attention. Sometimes it's so much in your face, you just your brain refuses to accept and believe it. But if they think these ICE guys and all that stuff is not real, and all of these people that's been laid off of their government jobs, and it's a lot going on.
Well, that's what Emily and I were talking about. We said Black folk have always made it, but how do we make it? Because we will help each other.
Yeah.
That's how we made it.
We're gonna have to help each other and lose their pride. Better start getting some gardens
and getting some hogs, like
get some out and put your chicken coop in the backyard and stuff like that. I mean, and that not only that, have a place where you can go draw your water.
You better.
Because how you gonna draw your water? How you gonna get some water if the water contaminated? But that's a what if, and that's way out there. But the bottom line is the survival skills some people had in the country. We better learn how to get some.
You better know it.
You know,
Yeah,
because those people in the country, when they didn't have nothing, so to speak, they knew how to go out there and pick herbs. They could eat off the land. They could go out there and kill them a chicken or a rabbit or a squirrel or whatever like that. It may not be the best, but they were able to go out there and do that, dig holes and hide potatoes and stuff like that. I don't know. You know, maybe I'm just way off in la la land. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
no, you're not.
Huh?
You're not.
You know, because it's scary, huh?
There's some serious stuff going on right now. And people
And
still trying to look at BET and all that stuff and them same movies over and over again, but they better start preparing themselves.
And you right, you know, you right though. We out there, but we tired of marching though, Johnny. I'm telling you right now. They said, Brenda, you ain't doing nothing with Georgia women. Nah, I ain't doing nothing. 'Cause I'm tired.
Yeah.
I did enough of that last election. I really do. And by the way, Emily did enough on that last election. You did, all of us went in and talked, trying to get people to get out to vote. Emily all on the TV. Remember, she was all on CNN.
oh, wow,
and
you
stuff
gotta
like
bring
that.
up old stuff.
You know, you was all up there grinning and carrying on.
Hater.
By the way, Johnny, remember folks thought she liked Trump? Remember that?
Well, you know, the jury is still out on that. The jury
out on that.
We can't hear you. Oh, there you go.
What you say?
The jury.
Talk about the jury still out on that. Oh,
I thought I saw her at a couple of those private parties at Bel Lago.
Nice try.
She was up there shaking his head, talking about what's you know how when she's singing back them little Jamaican songs, you know they be doing you know the kind they be doing, Johnny. Give me a little calypso.
Up there singing God Bless America with Lee Greenwood.
Huh?
Up there singing God Bless America with Lee Greenwood.
God bless
I was born in
America.
USA. Yeah.
Stand beside her
and guide her from the song.
I gotta step off a minute. Y'all go ahead.
He going to fry some chicken, y'all.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, that was crazy. And stop hating, because we did a lot of work. And you know, they actually wanted to come back and again. What was Johnny doing there? LOL, you had to be there to see her. Yeah, you had to be there to see her. He's talking about what Johnny said.
I don't know.
Right, talk about it. Johnny was talking about I was at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
And Anthony saying, well, what was you doing there, Johnny? You had to have been there to see her.
Oh, I think it would be a great segment for CNN to go back to the people that they talked to.
Well, they did reach out to us. And matter of fact, I didn't even tell my brother this, but they did actually reach out to us about a month and a half ago. They were going to come back because this was right at when he was had finished his first 90 days. And they wanted to come back and do an interview to see how we thought his first 90 days were going. I'm not sure if they got the clearance from CNN to go ahead on and do it, because the producers are the ones that reached out to us, Randy K specifically. So I think they are still considering coming back to see, you know, how we feel, you know, things were going. And I'm pretty sure they'll probably come back a few more times, since we do have some upcoming elections and things of that sort. But yeah, I think the CNN thing is going to be an ongoing thing. And they will not get me caught up again when it comes to this whole Trump situation.
Well, you know, I am so glad, you know, and I just simply answered an email from Georgia Women. And I wanted to, when you have an opportunity to influence decisions, then you need to do that for people that look like you, for people that you know, would benefit from it, and
Mhm.
sometimes you have to be not selfish and to be able to stand back, and so I really, really was excited to see her email and get her number and all that. She's
Mhm.
really a nice person, you know what I
Mhm.
mean?
She is. She is.
And Emily did so good, even though you was perceived that you liked Trump, but I just
There was one episode, the first one, and really, I was just talking to a guy about that. It was last week, I think it was, yeah. And I said, what people I've said this 1,000 times, they don't realize that first interview was what, about 3 hours,
Mhm.
and they condensed something that was 2 to 3 hours. They condensed it all the way down to 4 minutes.
Well, we have a phone call. I think it's Mr. Cooper.
Hello.
Hey, Emily, I just want to say all three of y'all are on it today.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cooper.
Everything else, and I'm not gonna hold back. I know I'm gonna get some flack by Pop and some of my people later, but I'm telling you, Emily was right. So everybody wants to get to the top with this social media. Don't want to get out and actually do any hard work like we used to do back in the day. And I think Deacon can't do what I said something about when you do help somebody, they go out and they put it on Facebook at what they done bought or what they got. I mean, we have really better listen and watch. Because this administration now that's in there, it's going to open up some eyes, I'm telling you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and it is beginning to open up eyes too.
Yeah, that big beautiful deal is gonna wake some people up.
Exactly. And then they won't go to, like you said, they won't go vote.
That's it.
I'm gonna realize y'all own it today. I'm gonna get off it, but y'all own it today.
Thank you so
Well,
much
thank
for
you.
calling.
Yeah. Y'all be blessed now. Let me get off before I get in trouble.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You know what? I actually made, let me see if I can find those notes. Because Jimmy had reached out to me and he was like, well, can you tell me about that big, beautiful bill? And I was like, well, let me figure out, a summary of it. And so when I was, trying to comb through and figure out, what was what and what was what, I think the biggest thing that I can see that people are really, really, really up in odds about is the Medicaid, because that they're going to do to Medicaid and Medicare, and what was the other one? The Social Security was an issue, and the debt. The $2.8 trillion in national debt through 2034. So what do you guys think? Is that pretty much sum up the biggest issues with that big unbeautiful bill?
Well, see, it's the Medicare for me. Okay, that's what it's because I need it, and there are already doctors right now that are dropping it. Some of the hospitals are closing, and so and I was talking to my cousin. I'm getting back to what you were talking about, like the food and all of this. We got to take really good care of ourselves because the health thing is going to change and shift. What you used to be able to get with Medicare, you can't get it. If the doctor is not, or like we've got 2 public hospitals. What happened when all these little hospitals close and they feed into Piedmont and Addison? Or or the local people be able to get in and get them some care. So it's a whole.
Even today, I was at the doctor earlier today, and they sent me down to get my my normal blood work, and your annual your yearly annual blood work, and they normally do it right there in the office, and they come around. I'm sitting there waiting. She was like, "Sir, your insurance, we can't take that anymore." I'm like, "But my doctor still takes it." Well, yeah, but the lab, we can't process the lab and something with the bill. And so you're going to have to go to another facility that takes this type of insurance. And I'm just sitting there looking like, so my doctor takes this insurance, and the office that she works in that ordered the lab work I can't get the lab work done in this office. I got to go somewhere else. I just kind of shook my head. I was like, wow.
Well, that's getting, and it's going to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the thing. And, you know, like Medicare, like if they don't take Medicare, that means that, you know, you're not going to be able to get the other supplement to go. I mean, you can have the other supplement, but that means that particular carrier is not going to accept it, period.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, so it's just a big old mess. And so that really, really bothered me about the bill was like the healthcare benefits. So
what about you, Johnny?
That because they know, whoever they are that I'm referring to, they know that above everything else, health is the most important part of it all. You can have all the money in the world, but if you're sick and ill all the time, it means nothing. And so they know when they so vehemently attacked anybody who was talking about universal health care and all that, that was the reason why, because they know they can defeat you if you're sick. I don't care how many skills you got. If you're sick, doesn't matter. I remember years ago, me and my buddies, all of us concluded when we started seeing in every black neighborhood or every impoverished neighborhood, every below the national, what we call, good income level, they started putting CVS's and Walgreens and dialysis centers in all these neighborhoods. And we said then, oh boy, they're putting all these in there. You know, people they're getting ready to make us sick.
Mm-hmm.
And it has come to pass that people are finding out more and more that the foods that are in the grocery stores that are in all those neighborhoods are subject to not be any good.
Yeah. And and by the way, Johnny, I read something about that. You know, that's really why I shop at Publix.
Well, you shop at Publix because you white.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, really, y'all were talking about,
come on.
You know, you were talking about, the food in them neighborhoods and stuff. That I just want to let you know when I ain't got to worry about it because they ain't putting no Publix.
Come on, Karen.
I mean, come on. Like, let's
they ain't putting no Publix.
Say we did.
They ain't putting no Publix in the hood.
Nope.
No, they're not.
No.
But there is a trick. I follow this little group, and my little friends in the group are always saying this. The trick to Publix is the coupons.
I do.
You got to use the coupons, and on certain days, like they double the coupons or something like that, and so you can get stuff that's $4. You can get it for like $1.50, and
well, that's a good thing. So I know you trying. You see, Emily, I just want you to know I went to see my black family in Ohio. I just thought
I saw that. I saw the videos on.
It was my
social media.
My black family,
and she didn't even look, Johnny. She put on a fake afro, a big afro wig.
No, she did not.
She did. It was a salt and pepper afro wig. I said, "Oh, she trying to fit in real good." But how about it? Wasn't even the kinky kind. It was the white folk kind. It looked like you got a Jerry curl. It was one of them kind of afro wig. Like you couldn't even do that right.
Wow.
You know what? And we had we had a 70s party.
And she was trying to dance, and you could tell she hadn't been around black folk very much. She was doing the two-step, let's keep it cute, keep it simple, keep it cute, keep it simple. That's what she was doing.
Jenna, you need why you ain't coming to my rescue? You usually
because he know I ain't lying.
Sometimes you just gotta rescue yourself.
Because he know I ain't lying.
But anyway, I went to we went to it was, I think it's a National Underground Railroad Freedom Center or something, or the Underground Railroad Freedom Center that's in Cincinnati.
Wow. Did you get nervous?
No, I wouldn't.
You being the only colonizer there, I would think you would be nervous.
No,
don't beat up too bad, Emily.
It was a colonizer that led the group. I just
of course it was.
But you know what? But you know what though? The topic today was again was how we always found a way to make it right, something like that.
That's right. That's right.
And that's what I said it jokingly just then, but it really comes down to we've always had the ability to rescue ourselves.
And we have, and when I went there and they talked about, and I never really have done a lot of research on Cincinnati, but Ohio was a free state. So that was one of the stops on the Underground Railroad. And, when you got the influx of the Fugitive Act, it made it difficult for people who were escaping, but it was just really, really fascinating to go through and to see the kind of things that, as you say, we were just so innovative and creative. We'd always find a way to eat or whatever it is that we needed to do. And so you could actually see all those things there. So if you ever get a chance to go to Cincinnati, be sure and check out that museum because it was just off the chain. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
And you said that was one of your cousins that was leading the tour.
Yeah, it was my Caucasian.
That's what
I'm gonna have my Caucasian cousin Lana call in to the show. That's what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
And wait a minute, Jenna about to hit his head laughing. I'm gonna have my cousin will tell you that she is.
You see how arrogant and boastful my cousin.
I did notice that.
Yeah.
She's
saying that part real hard, and her chest puffed out a little bit when she said it.
Yeah, to make sure we knew that public knew that it wasn't yours or mine, Emily. It's hers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I really hate to say it, because both of my cousins are human beings, and they're just all my cousins, and I love them all.
We're all human beings.
Did she just say that both of them are human beings?
Right.
Good Lord.
You know what though? First of all, there's only one race, Johnny, and that's the human race. Everything else is a social construct or something made up by man. Okay.
I hear my Lord.
Truly, you see, I kept them on. Truly spoken from a colonizer's perspective.
Yes, sir.
See, y'all, you know what? I'll let y'all pick at me about being a colonizer.
But you said that these two individuals were human. As if there was another choice.
Oh, there is an election going on tomorrow for public service commissioner. Now, I can't tell you how to vote, but what I can say is you may want to look at them letters in the front of it, and maybe pick somebody that is going along with the kind of things you have going on right now, the kind of things that you would like to see happen. Perhaps you want to go out there and do that, but you vote tomorrow.
All right, love you guys.
Love you.
See y'all next Monday.
Right,
go vote.
You've been listening to All of a Sudden. Join them every Monday evening from 5:30 to 6:30. All of a Sudden with your host, Brenda Sutton. That's every Monday. We'll see you there.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group.